we have 3 county commissioners from Allegany County, myself, Bill Valentine, Creed Brody. From Garrett County Commissioners, we have James Raley and Bob Gatto. From the Allegany County Office of the Sheriff, representing the detention center, we have Lee Cutter. We also have Mr. Morgan representing the Sheriff's Department, as well as other officers in attendance. Today we have representing Allegany College of Maryland, Dr. Bambara, as well as Mr. David DeWitt, the Vice President of Finance and Human Resources. From the Allegany County Public School System, we have two board members, Dr. Ed Root, Mr. Michael Llewellyn. Also we have in attendance is Dr. David Cox, our superintendent, Randy Bittinger, our chief business officer, and Miss Janet Wilson. Also here for this important day, we have from the Allegany County Library System, our director, Mr. John Tobe. From the Allegany County Health Department, we have Patrick. Patrick, how do I pronounce it? I'm sorry. Penasco. One more time?
Penasco.
Penasco. No, I would have messed that up regardless. Sorry, sir, Penasco. Our Deputy Health Officer. From HRDC, the Allegany County Human Resources Development Commission, we have Farron Graver, our Fiscal Director. From ASME 67, we have Jody Oliver, representing the city and the county and city employees of Allegany County of Western Maryland. We also have Mr. George Kuntz, President of the Western Maryland Central Labor Council and President of the IBEW Local 307 of the Electrical Workers. From the Retired Teachers Association, we have Mr. Stuart Moore, as well as Ms. Rita Schunagel. From our Allegany County Teachers Association, we have Ms. Debbie Pappas as well. And rounding it up, if I have not forgotten somebody, Mr. Stuart Zapsky from the Allegany County Chamber of Commerce. I really appreciate you all coming today and being part of this important press conference. After I speak, and then I believe Commissioner Valentine is going to say a couple words, we'll call on anybody who would like to speak. Some people would like to, some people would not. That's fine. It'll be up to you. We'll just acknowledge you, and we'll move on. You know, at this point, either yesterday, this morning, or this afternoon, there are stop-the-shift press conferences going on in at least 12 different counties throughout the state of Maryland in some form or fashion. The amount of employees that this shift of teacher pensions affects on the Board of Education is 995, Allegany College of Maryland 251, Library 35. The numbers provided to us by the Maryland Association of Counties reveals that the 50-50 shift of the teachers' pensions in the first year will cost $2.9 million, 3.7 in year 2, and 4.3 in year 3. I repeat, $2.9 million the first year, 3.7 in year 2, and 4.3 in year 3. The first year of the shift will be offset by a one-time disparity grant appropriation for us here in Allegany County, with some other minor revenue adjustments. These revenues, however, are non-sustaining, and will not do the heavy lifting in year 2 and beyond. Shifting liability to local government is not new. For the record, during the past 3 years, we have already dealt with a painful proposition of losing the vast majority of our highway user funds. In total, the reduction was approximately $4.5 million, or 6% of the county's general fund. Starting last year, we also now funding here locally the State Office of Assessment and Taxation, which last year cost us under $700,000. The cost of losing our highway user funds and picking up the other unfunded mandates from the state is painful. losing 6% of our revenue, resulting in the county having to flatline appropriations to outside agencies, in addition to the following: imposing furlough days, no raises for employees, lowering our debt service threshold, and reducing the size of the county's workforce. What we're hearing from Annapolis these days defies logic of those living in rural Maryland. Raise gas prices, slow residential development, and then to raise the cost of development. Increase in the flush tax, taking away planning authority, and for good measure, try to force the county commissioners to raise taxes. Let me repeat, try to force county commissioners to raise taxes. Or force the county commissioners here and across the state to do once again discussing furloughs, layoffs, and the elimination of public services. That's an important point. Elimination of public services. If the county was to raise taxes to try to recuperate some of the direct costs over the next 3 years, we would have to raise the property taxes over 10% to cover these costs. County governments didn't engineer the mess that the state finds itself in, and I firmly believe that we should not be tagged for the bill of cleaning up someone else's problems. What we have on the screen here is the Stop the Shift website. I encourage everyone to go to www.stoptheshiftmd.com. There's a couple different things in there. You can find out, you can take action, sign the petition, more especially stay involved with this most pressing unfunded mandate that's being passed down to the counties. But also, in a meeting that I was at yesterday down in Annapolis, the importance of tweeting and Facebook. I understand that the Lieutenant Governor actually liked this on Facebook. I think that's kind of interesting when the Lieutenant Governor likes it on Facebook. But what it does tell you is that in today's social media, the governor and the legislatures are using this as a way of communicating. So if you would go to this site, go ahead and link your Facebook account, go ahead and tweet on it, but more especially get your email there. The more people we can add to it, the more it's going to make more sense to the governor that this is not the right way to shift the cost. In closing, I'd like to invite everyone here on next Monday, March the 5th, for a lobby day. We're going to be meeting at 5 o'clock on Lawyers Mall, and the coalition to stop the shift will be then taking Monday night to meet with our senators and our delegates. We'll all be wearing Stop the Shift buttons. We'll be handing out leaflets to everybody in Annapolis, and then we'll also be having a rally on Lawyers Mall. I encourage everyone to attend. If you would like further information or you would like to ride in the McKay bus, we'll be taking the 16-passenger van down. So, County Commissioner Bill Valentine.
Good morning, everybody. I'll keep my comments rather short. Shifting this expense to the county is going to have an enormous effect on not only Allegany County, but every county in the state of Maryland. This is sort of like taking your family and friends to a very high-dollar restaurant, and when the waitress brings the bill, you say, well, no thank you, give the bill to the people over there at the other table. The counties had no part in the costs associated with these pension programs, and it should be the state paying the bill. Back in my younger days, back in the 60s and 70s, the motto for a lot of people seemed to be, we're mad as hell, we're not going to take it anymore. I'm not too sure that shouldn't be the message we take to Annapolis now. If you'll remember, it wasn't that long ago that they spent a few $100,000 to have a special session of the legislature. to decide how to get Maryland out of its budget woes. They came back from that special session having spent more money than what they saved. And it just continues and continues. They were warned that this was not a sustainable program as early as in the 80s. And yet they just keep going along, and then when it gets to the point where the state can't fund it, they decide to give it to the counties. To give you a little bit of an idea of the effect it would have in Allegany County, not counting the offsets that they say hopefully will be coming to us, but those offsets all have to go through the legislature. So those offsets are not guaranteed. But in 2013, Allegany County's bill would be equal to the amount that we supply to Allegany College of Maryland, our court systems, and to our economic development department.